In 1582, as Oda Nobunaga's burning body lay in the ashes of Honnoji Temple, Tokugawa Ieyasu found himself 300 kilometers from home, surrounded by enemies who wanted him dead. His survival depended entirely on a small group of Iga ninja and their arsenal of weapons so ingeniously designed that they turned physics, chemistry, and human psychology into instruments of war. For 400 years, Hollywood has fed you lies about ninja weapons, magical throwing stars that kill instantly, swords that cut through anything. Pure fantasy. Today we're diving deep into the Bansen Shukai and Shoninki, the actual ninja manuals written by real practitioners to reveal 12 weapons that shaped Japanese history. Each weapon we'll explore comes with verified historical examples, documented battle tactics, and the cold scientific logic that made them so devastatingly effective. By the end, you'll understand how a ninja armed with tools weighing less than 3 kilograms could neutralize an entire garrison of armored samurai. Prepare yourself, because what you're about to discover will forever change how you think about warfare, ingenuity, and survival. Let's destroy the biggest myth first, the Shuriken. Every movie shows them as one-shot killers, spinning through the air to strike down enemies instantly. The Bansen Shikai tells a different story. Shuriken are tools of distraction and delay. Their purpose is not the wound, but the hesitation that follows. Archaeological evidence from Iga province reveals 2 main types: Hira Shuriken, flat, multi-pointed stars, and Bow Shuriken, straight iron spikes, most forged from recycled nails and broken tools. The genius wasn't in the metal, it was in what coated the metal. Ninja mixed aconite root extract with animal fat, creating a paste that turned minor cuts into agonizing death sentences. Historical accounts from major sieges describe incidents where soldiers were struck by small flying iron, who died days later from mysterious fevers and convulsions, spreading terror through the ranks. Training focused on muscle memory over accuracy. Students threw wooden practice shuriken 500 times daily for years, until they could hit targets in complete darkness purely by instinct. The real weapon was fear itself. A samurai who felt that sharp sting in the night didn't know if he'd been marked for death. That psychological paralysis was worth more than any killing blow. Advanced practitioners mastered Kage Shuriken, shadow throwing. Launch 2 in sequence so the second hides behind the first. The enemy sees one coming, never suspects the second. But Shuriken had a fatal limitation: effective range of only 10 to 15 meters. Beyond that, they were just expensive distractions. Which is why when ninjas needed to kill silently from 50 meters away, they reached for something far more sinister. The Fukiya looks innocent, just a bamboo tube. But the Shoninki calls it the weapon that kills without witnesses, strikes without sound, and leaves no trace. Construction required surgical precision. Hollow bamboo 1 to 1.2 meters long, inner walls polished smooth as glass, perfectly straight to eliminate projectile drift. The ammunition, fukibari, were miniature masterpieces of engineering. Bamboo slivers wrapped in paper, weighted at the base for stable flight, tips hardened in fire and coated with poison paste. The Bansen Shukai preserves the poison recipe, applied fresh to needle tip. Death arrives in the time needed to prepare tea. In 1573, during the siege of a minor castle in Mikawa province, 3 guards were found dead at their posts with no visible wounds. Later examination revealed tiny punctures in their necks, barely larger than insect bites. The true genius was camouflage. Museum records document Fukiya disguised as walking sticks, musical instruments, even fishing rods. Guards searched for swords and spears, never suspecting the flute carried by a wandering musician. Master practitioners learned kaze no iki, breath of wind, a circular breathing technique allowing them to fire 3 darts in rapid succession without pausing for air. Victims often mistook the tiny puncture for an insect bite, swatting away the dart without realizing they'd been assassinated. Death came 15 to 30 minutes later, long after the ninja had vanished. The Fukiya's range was impressive for a silent weapon, but it required perfect aim and favorable conditions. What if you needed something that could disable an entire room full of enemies in under 3 seconds? Welcome to the ancestor of tear gas, Metsubushi, literally meaning eye destroyers. This was chemical warfare perfected centuries before modern military science. Delivery systems varied by mission requirements. Hollowed eggshells for explosive dispersal when thrown at faces, bamboo tubes for directed attacks through narrow openings, paper packets for quick deployment during escapes. The effects were immediate and catastrophic. Intense burning pain, uncontrollable tears flooding vision, respiratory distress, and temporary blindness lasting 20 to 45 minutes. During the 1578 naval engagement at Kizugawaguchi, Oda forces reported encountering demonic smoke that left entire boarding parties unable to fight. Modern historians now attribute this to coordinated Metsubushi deployment by defending ninja. Advanced variants documented in the Bansen Shukai included smoke Metsubushi, with sulfur and saltpeter for choking clouds, and sticky Metsubushi, mixed with pine resin that couldn't be wiped away. The psychological trauma was permanent. Samurai who experienced Metsubushi once became paranoid about all powder substances. Some refused to enter dusty rooms for the rest of their lives. Modern military tear gas and pepper spray are direct technological descendants of this 400-year-old ninja innovation, proving they were centuries ahead of their time. But chemical weapons required preparation and perfect timing. When cornered in close quarters with no time to prepare, ninjas needed a blade that could kill faster than a samurai could draw. If these historically accurate ninja weapons are completely reshaping how you think about medieval warfare and human ingenuity, smash that like button to support us. And don't forget to subscribe and turn on bell notifications so you don't miss the next video. The Ninjato, as depicted in modern media, perfectly straight, matte black, standardized design, is largely a 20th century invention with minimal historical evidence. But the concept behind it is historically sound and tactically brilliant. Historical sources show ninja preferred shorter, straighter blades than the curved katana. The shoninki is explicit. In narrow passages, the curved blade becomes a liability. Museum collections reveal common adaptations: shortened katana for confined spaces, wakizashi for easier concealment, and captured enemy weapons to avoid identification as ninja equipment. The philosophy was radically different from samurai sword culture. Where samurai swords were spiritual objects forged with religious ceremony, ninja blades were tools, functional, practical, expendable. Historical example. In 1570, ninja Sugetani Zenjubo's assassination attempt on Oda Nobunaga failed. Legend has it that his weapon was unusually short and straight, designed for surprise attacks in confined spaces. The scabbard, saya, was equally important, featuring hollow compartments for documents, measuring marks for calculating distances, and reinforced construction for use as climbing aids. Combat doctrine from the Shoninki was brutally efficient. Your sword is your last resort. If you draw it, stealth has failed. Strike once to vital points, then vanish immediately. Weight reduction was crucial. Lighter blades meant faster draws, quicker strikes, and less fatigue over long missions. The square tsuba, handguard, served multiple functions. Planted in the ground as a climbing step, used as a small digging tool, or employed as an improvised striking weapon. But even the most perfectly designed blade required getting dangerously close to heavily armed enemies. What if you could control an entire room from 4 meters away, using a weapon that turned geometry itself into a trap? The Kusarigama is one of the few ninja weapons that made samurai genuinely afraid. Looking at its design, you can understand why. Construction combined elegant simplicity with devastating effectiveness. A farming sickle, attached to a 2 to 4 meter chain ending in a weighted metal ball, fundo. The physics are terrifying. A 300-gram weight swung at 3 meters generates massive kinetic energy, enough to shatter bones, crush windpipes, or cave in skulls with a single impact. Combat mechanics operated at 3 distinct ranges. The chain could entangle weapons or limbs from 4 meters. The weighted ball could strike at 2 to 3 meters, and the sickle delivered killing blows in close quarters. Historical schools. Traditional schools like Isshin-ryu and Shinto-muso-ryu preserved detailed kata forms, demonstrating the weapon's complexity. Modern practitioners estimate 10 to 15 years to achieve true mastery. Training was notoriously dangerous. Historical records from various ryu mention students suffering self-inflicted injuries, split skulls, broken fingers, severe concussions, while learning to coordinate chain and blade movements. Famous duel. In 1605, the legendary swordsman Miyamoto Musashi faced a Kusarigama master named Shishido Baiken. Musashi won, but later wrote that the spinning chain was one of the few things that truly disrupted his legendary timing. The psychological weapon was the sound, that distinctive whipping noise as the chain cut through air. Samurai called it the devil's whisper, because you heard death circling, but couldn't predict where it would strike. Chain lengths varied by environment. Short chains, 1.5 meters, for indoor combat where space was limited. Long chains, 4 meters, for open battlefields where range mattered more than maneuverability. But the Kusarigama had one critical weakness. It was impossible to conceal. Guards could spot it immediately. For true infiltration missions, ninjas needed something that looked completely innocent, like a simple gardening tool. Every ninja carried multiple kunai, not because they were the deadliest weapons, but because they were the most versatile tools ever designed for covert operations. Originally, masonry trowels used by construction workers, archaeological finds confirm their evolution from building tools to essential ninja equipment. They literally weaponized poverty and practicality. Museum specimens show consistent design principles: 20 to 25 centimeters total length, leaf-shaped blade for concentrated force, sturdy iron construction that could withstand heavy use, and ring pommel for rope attachment. The Shoninki documents 19 different applications: stabbing weapon, digging tool, climbing aid, door wedge, crowbar, hammer, measuring rod, cooking utensil, lockpick, and more. Siege tactics. During the 1579 infiltration operations around Azuchi Castle, captured ninja equipment inventories included multiple kunai specifically noted for creating handholds in wooden walls and prying open window shutters. As a weapon, kunai excelled at close quarters penetration. The leaf-shaped blade concentrated force at the tip, allowing it to pierce 5-centimeter thick wood or penetrate deep enough into flesh to reach vital organs. Contrary to popular anime depictions, kunai were rarely thrown. They were too valuable and too heavy for accurate throwing beyond 8 to 10 meters. When ninjas did throw them, it was usually for distraction, not killing. Multiple carry methods ensured constant accessibility: belt pouches for quick draw, leg wraps for concealment, hidden compartments sewn into clothing, and even disguised as eating utensils. The ring pommel served crucial functions: rope attachment for climbing, finger loop for weapon retention during combat, and improvised knuckle weapon when gripped properly. Training was minimal compared to complex weapons. Kunai could be used effectively with just weeks of instruction. That simplicity was strategic genius in an organization that needed to train operatives quickly. But kunai had no reach, no range capability. When ninjas needed to turn their bare hands into predatory weapons that could catch swords and scale impossible walls, they reached for something that transformed them into human beasts. Long before comic books invented Wolverine, Japanese ninjas created the Tekko-Kagi, iron claws that transformed human hands into instruments of terror and precision. Design philosophy emphasized brutal functionality: heavy iron bands worn over the knuckles, with 4 curved spikes protruding from the palm side, each spike angled at precisely 30 to 45 degrees. The weapon served triple purposes: climbing aid for scaling trees and wooden walls, weapon catching tool for controlling enemy blades, and slashing weapon for close quarters combat. The spike angle represented sophisticated engineering: steep enough to grip wooden surfaces securely while climbing, shallow enough to rake across flesh without getting stuck in bone or cartilage. Combat applications: catching sword blades and twisting to snap them, controlling opponents' wrists through joint manipulation, and delivering devastating raking attacks to soft targets: throat, eyes, armpits, and groin. Castle walls in the Iga region still bear distinctive claw marks 6 to 8 meters high, physical proof that convinced medieval samurai that ninjas possessed supernatural climbing abilities. The psychological warfare was deliberate and calculated. Ninjas intentionally left claw marks in impossible locations to spread rumors of demon ninjas who could scale sheer walls like supernatural creatures. Training emphasized developing extraordinary grip strength. Historical training methods included hanging from tree branches for extended periods while wearing weighted vests to simulate combat conditions. Modern preservation. Martial arts schools in Iga and Koka regions still preserve traditional Tekko-Kagi techniques. though historical accuracy varies significantly between different lineages. But Tekko-Kagi were obviously weapons. Guards could identify them instantly. For deep infiltration missions requiring complete invisibility, ninjas needed something that looked like innocent jewelry. This may be the most insidious weapon ever conceived by human ingenuity, the Kakute. To the casual observer, just a simple metal ring. To its victim, a hidden instrument of agony and death. The design was deceptively simple, yet psychologically brilliant. A metal ring sized for 1 or more fingers, with 2 to 4 short spikes facing inward toward the palm, completely invisible until the moment of attack. Construction variations included serrated spikes for maximum tissue damage and hollow spikes for poison injection, turning even the slightest scratch into a delayed death sentence. Social engineering genius. An infiltrator could operate as a servant, merchant, or entertainer, hands completely visible, appearing totally unarmed to even the most suspicious guards. Combat applications targeted pressure points and major arteries through seemingly innocent physical contact. A handshake became a weapon. A pat on the shoulder became an assassination attempt. The Banshin Shukai describes poison application techniques. Coat spikes with slow-acting plant toxins. The victim feels only a pinprick, nothing more. Death arrives 3 days hence, long after you have vanished into the crowd. The psychological impact created lasting paranoia among high-value targets. Many lords became afraid of all physical contact, refusing to shake hands or accept gifts directly, which actually made them easier to identify and target. Training emphasized subtlety and natural movement. Attacks had to appear completely accidental to maintain cover. Students practiced thousands of accidental touches until the motions became indistinguishable from normal gestures. But Kakute required intimate contact, within arm's reach of the target. For medium-range control and non-lethal takedowns, ninjas needed something with more flexibility and reach. The Manriki-Gusari has one of the most fascinating origin stories in weapons history. It was invented by Edo period palace guards, who were legally forbidden to carry bladed weapons or spill blood on sacred grounds. Design achieved maximum effectiveness through elegant minimalism. A chain 1 to 1.5 meters long, with weights of 100 to 300 grams on each end. No handle, no blade, just physics and skill. The weapon could be completely concealed by folding into sleeves, wrapping around the waist as a belt, or disguising as a decorative cord, passing through even the strictest security checkpoints. Combat mechanics. One weighted end could strike temples or eyes, while the other simultaneously choked or restrained. A non-lethal weapon that could crack skulls or crush windpipes with precise application. The chain's flexibility was its greatest tactical advantage. Swords couldn't cut it, armor couldn't block it effectively, and it had no rigid form for opponents to counter, flowing around defenses like liquid metal. Traditional martial arts schools like Masaki Ryu preserved detailed techniques demonstrating strikes, entanglements, and restraints that seemed to defy the laws of physics to modern observers. Famous historical case. In 1591, palace guard Masaki Toshimitsu used Manriki-Gusari to subdue an armed intruder without killing him, perfectly following the palace's strict no bloodshed policy. The technique became legendary and spread throughout Japan. Advanced practitioners could create defensive barriers by spinning the chain rapidly, a whirling circle of metal that deflected projectiles and controlled space around the user. Training focused on precision over power. Unlike weapons that relied on brute force, Manriki-Gusari demanded surgical accuracy. Users needed to strike exactly where intended while avoiding self-injury. But even the most flexible chain was still limited to its length. For true versatility, something that could cut, hook, entangle, and climb all in one impossible package, ninjas created their strangest weapon. The Kyoketsu-Shoge looks like the fever dream of a mad weapons designer. Double-edged blade with perpendicular hook, attached to a 3 to 5 meter rope ending in a weighted metal ring. It shouldn't be practical, but it was devastatingly effective. Historical documentation. While evidence is primarily from Iga region traditions, surviving examples and preserved kata in certain schools confirm this wasn't just fantasy. It was functional battlefield technology. The weapon operated at 3 distinct combat ranges: blade work for close combat, 0 to 1 meter, hook manipulation for medium range control, 1 to 3 meters, and rope ring techniques for distance attacks and entanglement, 3 to 5 meters. Multi-function design. Beyond combat, it served as climbing equipment, barrier creation tool by stringing rope between anchor points, and crowd control device for managing multiple opponents simultaneously. Training was exceptionally complex and dangerous. Students needed to master blade techniques, rope manipulation, and spatial awareness simultaneously. Historical records suggest injury rates during training exceeded 50%. Tactical applications. The hook could snag armor pieces, catch weapon strikes, control limbs through leverage, or create anchor points for rapid climbing and repositioning during combat. Historical account. Iga region chronicles describe a ninja using Kyoketsu-Shoge to scale a castle wall by throwing the weighted ring over a roof beam, then using the rope and hook combination to create climbing holds on a supposedly unscalable surface. The weapon's greatest strength was also its weakness. Incredible versatility came at the cost of requiring years of dedicated training and being nearly useless in confined spaces. For reliable vertical mobility that any ninja could master quickly, they needed something that would turn them into human spiders capable of scaling any surface. Ashiko, foot spikes, and shuko, hand spikes, represented the pinnacle of ninja climbing technology. Tools so effective that witnesses genuinely believed ninjas possessed supernatural powers. Construction used precisely engineered iron plates fitted to hands and feet, with 4 to 6 spikes per unit angled at the critical 30 to 45 degree range for optimal grip and wood penetration. The spike angle was crucial engineering. Too steep and they would slip off surfaces under body weight. Too shallow and they wouldn't penetrate wood sufficiently. That narrow angle range was the result of centuries of refinement. Performance capabilities. With proper training, ninjas could scale surfaces that defeated unequipped climbers. Wooden castle walls, tree trunks, earthen embankments, and even some stone surfaces with sufficient cracks or irregularities. Contemporary accounts describe ninjas ascending 10-meter castle walls in under 60 seconds, faster than climbing ladders, and completely silent when used by masters. Combat applications. Beyond climbing, shuko served multiple fighting functions, catching sword strikes, Spikes could entangle blades, controlling opponents' wrists through joint manipulation and delivering raking strikes to faces and throats. Training built specialized grip strength through historical methods that included hanging from tree branches for extended periods, gradually adding weight to simulate combat equipment loads. Psychological warfare. Guards finding claw marks 8 meters high on supposedly unclimbable walls spread rumors of supernatural ninja abilities, creating fear that was often more valuable than the actual climbing capability. But all the climbing ability in the world was useless if pursuing enemies could follow the same route. For that, ninjas needed their cruelest weapon, something that turned the very ground into a trap. The Makibishi represents the ultimate expression of ninja philosophy. Maximum effectiveness through elegant simplicity. Small enough to hide in your palm, yet capable of stopping entire armies. Geometric perfection. The tetrahedral design ensures one spike always points upward, regardless of how they land. A mathematical certainty that made them foolproof area denial weapons. 2 main varieties existed. Tetsubishi, iron caltrops, strong enough to penetrate thick-soled footwear, and Tenenbishi, dried water chestnuts that were organic, untraceable, and carried natural bacteria for infection. Deployment tactics. Scattered during retreats across narrow roads and forest paths, placed at choke points like bridge exits and doorways, or thrown behind while running to disable pursuers. Biomechanical effectiveness. Foot injuries are among the most debilitating for soldiers. You cannot fight effectively if you cannot stand or move. This simple truth made Makibishi devastatingly practical. Chronicles of guerrilla warfare in Iga and Koka regions describe ambushes where small ninja forces used terrain traps and caltrop fields to delay enemy forces many times their size. Siege warfare applications. During castle sieges, Makibishi fields forced attacking armies to slow their advance, clear paths carefully, and bunch up in predictable patterns, making them vulnerable to other attacks. Psychological impact. The fear of hidden spikes slowed entire enemy formations. Soldiers became paranoid about every step, reducing their combat effectiveness even in areas with no actual caltrops. Material science. Some variants were poisoned or deliberately contaminated to ensure even minor wounds became serious medical emergencies, multiplying their tactical impact. Contemporary military caltrops follow identical design principles, proving that this 400-year-old ninja innovation remains tactically relevant in modern warfare. We've just examined 12 authentic ninja weapons, each one documented in historical sources, confirmed by archaeological evidence, or preserved in traditional martial arts schools. The deeper truth that emerges is that ninja success never came from supernatural powers or Hollywood magic. It came from applied science, psychological warfare, and engineering genius. Each weapon embodied the core ninja philosophy: maximum effectiveness with minimum resources, adaptability over specialization, and results over honor. These tools teach us that innovation and intelligence often triumph over brute force and expensive equipment, a lesson as relevant today as it was 400 years ago. From the psychological terror of Shuriken to the geometric perfection of Makibishi, from the chemical warfare of Metsubushi to the invisible death of Kakute, each weapon was a masterpiece of practical engineering. If you appreciate historically accurate content that separates verified facts from popular myths, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who still thinks ninja weapons were just movie props. Until then, remember, in a world of loud claims and flashy demonstrations, quiet competence backed by solid evidence is the most powerful weapon of all.